This is Head Bustin' Boxing. We are back in the house, and we're gonna talk about the unified heavyweight titles that Andy Ruiz holds. And the question I have to ask, and maybe you guys should be asking yourself this as well, is how long can Andy Ruiz stay unified? And I'm not talking about him losing the titles, because to be honest with you, his style, what he brings to the table against AJ in a rematch, he should be favored. Technical wise, he is the better boxer than AJ. AJ has way more flaws than Ruiz do. Now, that's not me saying that AJ can't beat him. I already said in previous videos that I do believe AJ can beat him. The question is the will and the how. Because if AJ come in there with a piss poor game plan and isn't able to execute, then he'll lose again, and maybe even in a worse fashion. Ruiz is definitely the better boxer, but because certain things AJ brings to the table, if he execute right, then yeah, he can pull a victory out. But I'm not even talking about that. Let's say Ruiz fight AJ and beats him again, whether it's a 12-round decision or whether it's a knockout first round, whatever. I mean, whether it could be from one extreme to the next. Let's just assume Ruiz does beat AJ. What then? Because you have a lot of variables tying into whether or not he can keep all of those belts. And I'm going to give some examples. It's not really meant for, and it's not just the heavyweight division, it's any division. It's not really meant for somebody to hold all four, or dare I say five, now that you have the IBO. It's not really meant for somebody to hold all five of those titles. And the reason why I say that is because all of these sanctioning bodies have their own agenda. Now, the WBA and the WBC, they consider themselves sister sanctioning bodies. So they might be more willing to work with each other more consistently than the other three. But at the end of the day, even the WBC and the WBA technically has their own agenda. You can see that in the ranking system. So with that being said, and like I said, this isn't just for the heavyweight division, this is any division, because it's played out in other divisions, where you will have one sanctioning body wanting that fighter to fight whoever they feel like is the top opponent for them. Then you will have the other sanctioning bodies saying something else. Now, they might all fall in line at some point, but that's not the case. Fortunately, they give you, I think it's between a year or two to fight mandatories. Like after you fight one mandatory, you have like a year or two or whatever before you have to fight another one, if I'm not mistaken. So that should give you time to cover the other mandatories with the other sanctioning bodies. But here's my point. With Andy Ruiz, the WBC and the WBA are backing him fighting Deontay Wilder. They want that to happen. And it doesn't take much of a genius to figure out why. Because right now, Andy Ruiz is the darling of the heavyweight division, if not the darling of all boxing right now, because of his upset of AJ, number one, and number two, because of his Mexican heritage. And this has nothing to do with race. I'm not knocking that one way or the other. I'm just speaking facts. Mexican boxing fans, no matter good or bad, they will stick behind their fighters. And because of that, and because of their ability or willingness to buy tickets and to buy pay-per-views, that's always going to make a sanctioning body want to stand behind a Mexican fighter, especially the WBC and WBA, considering they're ran by people of that same ethnicity. So it only makes sense. Look at Canelo Alvarez. And I'm not saying anything was handed to Canelo, and some people will say it has been, but I'm not saying that. The point is, when you have a Mexican heavyweight champion that's never been done before, a Mexican heavyweight champion, and you know the Mexican people, whether that's Mexican Americans or Mexicans that live in Mexico, are going to stand behind this fighter, good or bad, that would make you want to, to set him up to be in big fights. So with that being said, the WBC and the WBA have already put it out there that they want Andy Ruiz to fight Deontay Wilder. And if Ruiz wins, he will have all 5 of the straps. And when I say 5, I'm including the WBO. Now, the problem is, will the other 2 or 3 sanctioning bodies, I have to say, let me see, WBC, WBA, would the WBO and the IBF and IBO fall in line as well? Now, according to Tyson Fury, the WBO don't even want him to rematch AJ, less than only move forward for a Wilder fight. According to Tyson Fury, and I did a video about this 2 days ago, I believe. According to Tyson Fury, the WBO would like Andy Ruiz to fight the winner of the Tyson Fury-Tom Schwartz fights that's fighting this weekend. Well, that fight that will take place this weekend. So there could be a problem as far as Andy Ruiz holding on to all of the belts before he even get in the ring with the AJ. Because according to what Tyson Fury is alluding to, as soon as he signed that fight with AJ, the WBO will be looking to strip him of the title. And it's funny because initially, after the AJ lost to Ruiz, you heard people speaking about the fact that Ruiz might get stripped by the IBF. Then we heard the sanctioning bodies, all of them combined, were saying no, we'll stand behind the Ruiz AJ fight. So at that point, I just assumed the problem had went away. But now we're hearing the WBO might also step in and say, well, hold on, the AJ fight, that can wait. What about the winner of this Fury fight? So we might see some things get shook up a little bit as far as the unification of those 4 titles. And when I say those 4, I mean the WBA, WBO, IBF, and IBO. Of course, Deontay Wilder is still the WBC champion. So now the question is, let's say Ruiz beats AJ, the WBO strips him and hands the belt to Tyson Fury, and after Ruiz beats AJ, he steps forward to fight Wilder for the WBC. Will the IBF fall in line with that? Because now you didn't just fight 1 fight, now you're looking to fight 2 fights without fighting their mandatory. Because that was supposed to be the issue going into the AJ Ruiz rematch anyway. Will the IBF be the one with the problem with Ruiz and AJ rematching? Now supposedly they're cool with it, but will that be the case if he beats AJ, then fight Wilder? Could you see him being stripped of the IBF title before he even gets in the ring with Deontay Wilder? So once again, the question is, will it be a problem with Andy Ruiz staying unified just based off of who it is he's choosing to fight? And like I said, we've seen this happen before. Triple G was stripped of, I think it was, what was that, the WBO, I believe, when last year pursuing a Canelo Alvarez fight. I forget the guy who was mandatory was supposed to be, or it might have been a WBA title. Either or, it was the belt Danny Jacobs wound up with, because they stripped him of it. And Jacobs fought the guy that he was supposed to fight in the mandatory and won and carried that WBA title in the match against Canelo. So this has happened plenty of times. I mean, you can look it up. This isn't something new. Even the situation, I believe, and you can correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, even the situation between Bo and Lennox Lewis. Bo had multiple titles at that time. He wasn't just the WBC champion, but the WBC was ordering him to fight Lennox Lewis, and I might be wrong on this, but either he chose to fight Larry Donald, or he was pursuing a Holyfield rematch. It was one or the other. I can't remember which one. But at that time, Riddick Bowe was the unified champion, and he was stripped of that title. So this isn't something that's unheard of. And I'm pretty sure if I think hard enough, I could think of probably 1,000 examples of this happening. But it just doesn't seem like, and matter of fact, it ain't no doesn't seem, I know it's not meant for one person to hold all those belts. It's just not. And don't be surprised if we see that go down with Andy Ruiz, with one or two of the sanctioning bodies wind up stripping him of a title because he didn't fight whoever it is he wanted to fight. But anyway, this is a Head Busting Boxing Fight Doctor. That's pretty much all I got. Hit me up in the comment section and let me know what you think. Do you believe that it's possible that Andy Ruiz will be stripped of one of the sanctioning body titles, if not two, before he even get in the ring with AJ? And do you think that would happen if he chooses to fight Wilder outside or beyond the AJ rematch, if he does pull out the win? But hit me up in the comment section, let me know what you think. This is Head Busting Boxing Fight Doctor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. I am out.